Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: Mei Lin says she's a businesswoman and a suburban mum. Police allege she's part of a transnational organized criminal syndicate. China's point man on Hong Kong to visit the city, SCMP reports. Messi says HK no-show wasn't political, has affection for China. Saganchi hedge fund assets shrank by $1 billion since March. Chinese banks cut mortgage reference rate by most on record. Mei Lin says she's a businesswoman and a suburban mum. Police allege she's part of a transnational organized criminal syndicate. ABC. Mei Lin, a suburban mother and businesswoman, has been accused by Australian police of being a key figure in a transnational drug smuggling syndicate. She is one of more than a dozen people arrested in connection with a plot to smuggle 71.5 kilograms of methamphetamine into Australia. Lin denies any connection to the plot and has been granted bail, but the Australian Federal Police, AFP, allege that she used an encrypted device under the code name Make It Rain to organize the drug importation from Papua New Guinea, PNG. The AFP also alleges that Lin and a businessman named Chun Frank Lee previously operated a sea cucumber export business in PNG and that evidence of their involvement was found in encrypted messages on Lee's phone. Lin's businesses, including an import-export company and a pet motel, have an annual turnover of millions of dollars. She claims to have no prior knowledge of the drug smuggling operation and intends to plead not guilty. China's point man on Hong Kong to visit the city, SCMP reports. Bloomberg. Xia Baolong, the top official in charge of Hong Kong for Beijing, will visit the city this week to gather opinions on a proposed domestic security law. Xia's visit comes at a crucial time for Hong Kong, as Chief Executive John Lee's decision to enact the legislation has raised concerns among members of the finance community. The proposed law would bring Hong Kong more in line with mainland China's laws on state secrets and espionage, which have worried investors. Beijing tightened its control over Hong Kong in 2020 with the imposition of a national security law. Messi says HK no-show wasn't political, has affection for China. Bloomberg. Lionel Messi has addressed the controversy surrounding his failure to play in a football match in Hong Kong earlier this month, saying his absence was not due to political reasons and expressing his affection for China. In a video statement released on Chinese social media, Messi clarified that his absence was due to an inflamed adductor and not for any other reasons. He emphasized his close relationship with China and his participation in various events and games in the country throughout his career. Messi's absence in the match and subsequent participation in a match in Japan fueled speculation that he was deliberately snubbing fans in Hong Kong and mainland China. The incident led to the cancellation of planned friendly games between Argentina and Nigeria as well as Ivory Coast, and Messi faced criticism from Chinese nationalist tabloid, The Global Times. While Messi's latest statement may calm the waters, it is likely that his image in China has been damaged as a result of the controversy. Saganchi hedge fund assets shrank by $1 billion since March. Bloomberg. Saganchi Capital Management's hedge fund assets have shrunk by 18% since March 2023 due to investment losses and redemptions. The assets of the Saganchi Asia Pacific Equity Multi-Strategy Fund declined to around $4.8 billion at the end of January, down from nearly $5.9 billion in March 2023. The fund's low single-digit performance losses over the 13 months to January suggest that investors have pulled hundreds of millions of dollars of capital. The firm opened the fund to more cash to boost assets to $7 billion in H1 2023. Chinese banks cut mortgage reference rate by most on record. Bloomberg. Chinese banks have cut the key reference lending rate for mortgages by the largest amount on record, in a bid to support the struggling property sector. The 5-year loan prime rate, LPR, a reference for mortgages, was lowered by 25 basis points to 3.95%. This is the first cut in 8 months and the largest since the rate was introduced in 2019. The move comes as the Chinese economy faces the longest deflation streak since the 1990s and the worst property downturn on record. The central bank has refrained from cutting a key policy interest rate, but has taken other steps to support the economy, including injecting liquidity into the banking system. Messi denies political snub was behind Hong Kong no-show. Yahoo! Lionel Messi has denied that his absence from a match in Hong Kong 2 weeks ago was a political snub, insisting that he missed the game due to injury. The 8-time Ballon d'Or winner stayed on the bench during Inter Miami's 4-1 win against a Hong Kong Select 11. Messi said that his no-show was for political reasons and that he would not have traveled to Hong Kong if that had been the case. Some nationalist politicians in China had interpreted Messi's absence as a snub to the country. Singapore Airshow back to full scale as industry sees clear skies. Nikkei Asia. The Singapore Airshow has returned to full scale after a limited opening in 2022 due to the pandemic. More than 1,000 companies from over 50 countries and some 50,000 visitors will attend the trade days. Among the attendees this year is Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, which will display its narrow-body C919 passenger jet. The C919 is positioned as China's answer to Boeing's 737 series and Airbus A320neo. In addition to the trade days, over 60,000 visitors are expected to attend over the weekend when the show is open to the public. Dudu captain Neymar, but representing Hong Kong would be biggest honor. South China Morning Post. Brazilian footballer Dudu, who plays for Hong Kong club Liman, has received his Hong Kong passport and is hoping for a call-up to the national squad. Dudu has had a successful career in Hong Kong, winning the league title with Taipei in 2019 and joining Liman last summer. The 33-year-old defender has said that receiving a Hong Kong call-up would be the biggest honor of my career. Mainland customers spent $7.6 billion on Hong Kong insurance policies in 2023. South China Morning Post. Mainland Chinese tourists spent 59 billion Hong Kong dollars, $7.6 billion, on insurance policies in Hong Kong last year, boosted by the reopening of the mainland border, a weakening yuan and the interest rate gap between China and the US, the insurance authority, IA, said. However, IA CEO Clement Chung expects sales to drop to the normal levels of 43 billion Hong Kong dollars to 51 billion Hong Kong dollars per year, as the pent-up demand fades. Last year's tally was a significant jump on the 3-year COVID-19 period, which recorded sales of 2.1 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2022, 700 million Hong Kong dollars in 2021 and 6.8 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2020. Singapore Airshow to feature aerial displays and the international debut of China's C919. Yahoo! Singapore is hosting its first airshow since 2020, with more than 1,000 exhibitors taking part in the event, which runs until February 25. Singapore's aviation sector is recovering well from the impact of the pandemic, with passenger loads almost reaching pre-COVID levels. However, the industry is grappling with supply chain issues, with shortages of parts, planes, and personnel. The event is expected to foster collaboration and showcase new technology, such as autonomous vehicles. Hong Kong speedster Li has no fear on track after Australian experience. South China Morning Post. Cici Li Ziwing, a Hong Kong track cyclist, is targeting gold medals at the Asian Track Cycling Championships and hopes to make her Olympic debut this year. Li recently participated in a training camp in Australia, where she competed against some of Australia's best young male talent in criterium races. She believes that this experience has helped her improve her intensity and build her confidence for upcoming races. Li is also aiming to qualify for the Omnium and the two-person Madison events at the Olympics. Her ultimate goal is to finish in the top 10 and perform well in global competitions. UK's Cameron visits Falklands in 30-year first, sparking provocation claim. South China Morning Post. UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron has visited the Falkland Islands, prompting accusations of provocation from an Argentine regional official. This is the first such trip in 3 decades to the territory claimed by Argentina, but ruled by Britain. Cameron said he visited the South Atlantic archipelago to make clear that the Falklands were a valued part of the British family and that Britain would help protect and defend the islands for as long as they wanted to be part of the UK family. Argentina claims to have inherited the islands from Spain when it gained independence, but Britain insists that it has historically ruled the Falklands and notes that islanders voted 99.8% in favor of remaining British in a 2013 referendum. Chinese AI logistics firm picks Hong Kong for international headquarters. South China Morning Post. Chinese AI logistics company Westwell has opened an international headquarters in Hong Kong in a bid to expand globally. The Shanghai-headquartered firm will also establish a research center in the city. Westwell, which designs and develops AI chips and autopilot control systems for AI-powered autonomous vehicles for the logistics industry, said the city's strategic location and well-established infrastructure made it a good base to connect with global markets. Westwell's major clients, Hutchison Port Holdings and China Merchants Ports, are based in Hong Kong. The company has a valuation of 7 billion Chinese yuan, $973 million, following 5 rounds of fundraising last year. Asia stocks muted, bought falls on PM rate cut plea, markets wrap. Bloomberg. Asian stocks traded within a narrow range, while investors await fresh catalysts. Australia's stocks fell as BHP Group missed profit estimates, while Japan's stocks recorded slight gains. Futures for Hong Kong shares edged higher, while U.S. equity contracts remained little changed. In China, the recent optimism failed to translate to equity gauges after the Chinese New Year holiday. Despite the replacement of the securities regulator chief and better-than-expected holiday spending data, every small rally was met with fresh selling, according to Daniel Tan, portfolio manager at Grasshopper Asset Management. And that's a wrap for today's news. We've covered a range of stories, from a suburban mum accused of being part of a drug smuggling syndicate in Australia, to Lionel Messi addressing the controversy surrounding his no-show in Hong Kong. We also talked about the Singapore Airshow returning to full scale, Chinese banks cutting mortgage rates, and the disruption of the Lockbit cyber gang by law enforcement agencies. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into these stories. Starting with the suburban mum turned alleged drug smuggler, Mei Lin. Talk about a plot twist. It just goes to show that you never really know what's going on behind closed doors. And speaking of closed doors, it seems like Mei Lin may have used encrypted messages to organize this drug importation. Looks like she took a page out of the spy handbook. But hey, innocent until proven guilty, right? Moving on to Lionel Messi, the football superstar who found himself caught up in a political storm. His absence from the match in Hong Kong had fans speculating about the reasons behind it. But Messi has now cleared the air, stating that it was due to injury and not politics. He even expressed his affection for China in a video statement. But I have to say, Messi's image in China may have taken a hit as a result of this controversy. It's a reminder that actions can speak louder than words, even for a beloved sports icon. Now, let's talk about the Singapore Airshow. It's back and bigger than ever. After a limited opening in 2022 due to the pandemic, the Airshow is returning to full scale. More than 1,000 companies from over 50 countries will be attending, showcasing the latest in aviation technology. It's a sign that the industry is recovering well from the impact of COVID-19, with passenger loads almost reaching pre-pandemic levels. However, supply chain issues are still a challenge, with shortages of parts, planes, and personnel. But hey, at least we can still dream of flying high. And finally, let's not forget about the disruption of the Lockbit cyber gang. The FBI and UK National Crime Agency have seized thousands of domains used by this hacker group, as well as shutting down websites used for ransom payments. Lockbit has been responsible for numerous high-profile attacks, extorting millions of dollars in ransom payments. It's a reminder of the ever-present threat of cybercrime and the importance of strong cybersecurity measures. Well, that's it for today's news. I hope you enjoyed our journey through the latest headlines. Now it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you think Mei Lin is guilty or innocent? Are you relieved to hear Messi's explanation for his absence in Hong Kong? And how do you feel about the return of the Singapore Air Show? Don't be shy, I want to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.